Welcome back, beautiful souls, starseeds, indigos, way showers, stewards of New Earth, grid workers. Come on into this dimension. This is your girl, Indy, on my YouTube channel, IndigoAngel, and you are tuning in to a little breakdown and a little update about what is unfolding beneath the surface, which none of this is random, that there is a rapid unraveling of all of the old control architecture. There is massive disclosure that is unfolding on levels that we have never seen before, and it is creating a stirring. It's creating a need for uh, education. It's creating a need for stepping into accountability for humans' ancient origins and the truth of of our reality and existence. And it is pretty profound. We have been seeing Congress come forward in a way that we've never seen before, releasing what they know about alien disclosure, what they know about the force breeder programs, undisclosed locations where force breeder facilities are happening and occurring, where this stuff is really going down. Okay, and this is leading to more unveiling about the nature of our existence, our holographic world, our holographic universe, our holographic Earth, what is happening at the stargates, what's happening through the portals, what's happening through time manipulation, CERN, um, the truth about ultra terrestrials and how they function and operate and submerge and emerge themselves from the inner Earth and beyond. And this is coming out of the mouth of people who are our political representatives. And because so much is coming to the light so quickly, what is being done in the dark is coming to the light so quickly. What is emerging about the technology that the US government is working with when it comes to Lockheed Martin, when it comes to all of the corrupt companies that are creating the warheads on planet, off planet, off planet technology coming on planet, which galactic races were receiving this information from, which galactic factions and nations and lineages and creeds are working directly with the US government to bring forward these weapons. And today, we are revealing the cluster of the US linked scientists, the 11 scientists, the researchers, the former officials in aerospace, nuclear, and defense fields who have reportedly died or have gone missing in the last few years. So this is huge. I've been meaning to talk about this, but I had to do a little diving in. I had to feel into this whole situation and what is going on for me to be able to walk us through that. So let's talk about what's in the headlines right now, focusing on the cluster of all these deaths of these very important and significant people who are in these advanced fields who have information to the weapon systems that they are using against humanity. The weapon systems, they've been weaponizing the earth. Understanding this type of stuff is how we will reach the profound depth of all of the challenges that we face on Earth, because within this intricate web of creation, the fallen systems, the artificial grids, and the reversal technologies, it is mission critical that every planetary grid worker understands this stuff, understands that this is not something that is philosophical, that is something that's just coming out of nowhere, that this is actually tactical reality. This is the battlefield that is being fought with conventional weapons and technologies that are engineered to distort, to harvest, to fragment, and to run reversals within the living spirit of Earth. And the war is waged in so many ways. It's waged through the scalar fields, the holographic blueprints, the AI quantum codes, sound architecture they're using, the weapons in the sky. It is, it's contested territory. Let's just put it this way. And we need to fortify these organic systems, the organic light, to co-opt out of these inversion systems, essentially. So, one thing I've been talking about for a while, and we'll get into the US scientists, is that Earth has been militarized and booby trapped. So, what we are seeing come to light is everything that's connected to the fact that Earth is weaponized against itself. Our planet has been converted into a matrix of control technologies, and it is to destabilize humanity from birth and conceal ancient devices such as CERN, things like this. But, anyways, ultimately, this is to entrap soul consciousness in feedback loops, suppress ascension pathways, reroute organic timelines into artificial matrices, and inflict harm fragmentation on the human race. So, I do feel that these scientists don't know. I don't think when they took these jobs that they knew what they were getting involved in. They didn't probably understand how much that their involvement in the development of these weapon systems against the planet would get them involved in something that inevitably would lead to their doom, right? And if you've been following X, you will know that one of the most vocal voices right now is a lady named Amy Catherine Escridge. She is the daughter of scientist Richard Escridge. And her father, was one of the guys who had independently discovered anti-gravity. And the NSA, all the three-letter organizations, knew that her father had independently discovered anti-gravity. And what's so fascinating about her story is there's so many videos of her online speaking about what was going on, how she was saying publicly that they were sitting on the threshold where these technologies were about to be published. And because they were sitting on that threshold, that the competition within this is lethal, that these people on this level of knowledge and bringing forward these technologies, that this immediately put their family under high level threats, and that they had been receiving all kinds of death threats for quite some time. And she said it was like having an angel and a demon on each one of her shoulders. You have a group of people that say, keep going, do this, put this information out, publish anti-gravity, keep going, we need this. And on the other hand, you have the dark forces, the agents of mass destruction, that want to destroy you for doing this, right? It's so interesting because, oh, I'm getting ringing in the ear as I'm even talking about this. So I'm just going to clear, cleanse, shield, delete, rebuke any negative forces that could be coming in through the airwaves on my end here now that I'm opening up this discussion. But essentially, that she had been knowing that this was coming, and she had been putting lots of things out online, letting people know that they're under threat. And sure enough, in 2022, she supposedly takes her life herself, a suicide, with a gun, with her own gun, that she supposedly committed suicide. So everyone knows that this just isn't the case. This is why her videos have been highly inflated, and it has brought attention and awareness to all of the rest of the people who have been going missing, the deceased scientists, and who and what they reportedly tied to. So now all of this darkness is coming to the light. And so the deeper thread that I have gathered from all of this and what I've been seeing is surfacing is that many of these souls that went missing, like 6 out of the 11, they were part of building the military's secret weapon known as the rods from God. And it's called Project Thor or Project Zeus. Many of you have maybe heard about this before. But this is essentially when satellites were hovering in low Earth orbit around 500 kilometers up, carrying magazines of rods the size of telephone poles, 20 feet long, 1 foot in diameter, made of tungsten, one of the densest metals on Earth. Tungsten's melting point is so high it can punch through the atmosphere without burning up. And when they release these rods, they essentially strike with kinetic force of a nuclear bomb, but with zero nuclear fallout. So it's pure kinetic devastation. They can have more devastation with less devas more direct threat to to their enemies with less innocent casualties and suffering and things like this. So you can see how this technology, I mean, is you see how we go to world war over nuclear bombs and nuclear weapons and things like this, how these types of weapon systems, these types of technologies would just be something that it's on a totally on another level, and it's something that all of these very high advanced militaries working with very high factions of negative ET councils, such as the US government. I'm sorry, but the US government, hey, it's been very well known and very well reported that they are working with the tall whites, they are working with grays, they are working with Anunnaki, Draconian, Sumerian hybrids, whether it's through donors, whether it's through political parties and things like this, whatever it is, experiments. But we know that they're working with them. So, which ET faction is feeding these kinetic weapon systems uh, in and through, and how are these scientists ultimately putting all of this together? But essentially, just 6 to 8 satellites spread across a given orbital plane, and they can target any point on Earth's surface within 12 to 15 minutes. You take out one satellite, it doesn't matter. The next one in the orbital chain simply rotates into position and drops it when it's directly overhead. So I could visualize this actually because when I was going out camping, uh, floating down the river, I was looking up at the stars one of the nights, and I seen a party train of stars, like a conga line, just all moving at a rapid pace across the sky. And I'm thinking, like, is this like a UFO migration? Like, what am I witnessing here? And someone said to me, no, that's SpaceX. That's the satellites. That's what it looks like. And I was like, wow. Okay, so that's absolutely insane. Like they have full sky dominance, and we are moving into a dystopian era timeline of disclosure where Star Wars, Stargate Wars is like a real thing, and the sky is the optimal battlefield. The sky, the Skynet, the Starlinks, all of this is the optimal battlefield. You guys may have seen also the movie G.I. Joe. It's a movie that shows this weapon system almost perfectly. In the movie, they call it Project Zeus. And in Project Zeus, they had satellites orbiting Earth. Each satellite contained 10 hollow platinum tubes filled with a tungsten rod. And in the movie, it was approaching London. And so they activated the coordinates, and then they dropped the authorization, and they directed the rods to its target. So go and watch the G.I. Joe movie, then you'll kind of get an idea of what this weapon system looks like. Essentially, the rod touches down 8 times faster than a bullet and with a force significantly greater than a nuclear warhead. None of the fallout, but they get all of the fun. And Trump is probably all about attaining this, right? Like he's invested thousands of billions of millions of dollars into the military. And these are the kinds of black budget programs that the missing and deceased scientists were reportedly tied to. So, I mean, I don't think this is very good incentive to want to become a scientist. Okay. I mean, because you're going to be if you do. Like, who wants to head into this field? I mean, it's such a brutal industry that is linked to all of the negative psychological operations and MK Ultra programming and all of this voiced skull technology, the blue beam technology. I mean, you know, how can we say that science is for the betterment of humanity, really, when at the end of the day, it's all weaponized and booby trapping our planet? So, you know, They said that the White House is conducting a probe, yet the connections are impossible to miss. And they're acting like these things are not connected, but we know that they are essentially trying to pull one over. And nobody can really get off of this topic right now. This is a hot topic, and everybody is talking about this. So let's get into who are some of the scientists that are a part of this crazy scientist murder scheme and schema and campaign. So there's so many linking connections here that we know that something is definitely going on that's so much deeper. The way that they all died is very telling that they're not suicides, they're not just a missing person, all of these things that that they run us around the bush and it's just like they covered up Charlie Kirk's murder. They're doing this to everybody. They're offing anybody that gets in the way. Uh, you guys, one of the scientists, she was an aerospace engineer, Monica Reza, for the JPL. She vanished while hiking near Mount Waterman in June 2025. They said that her companion made eye contact with her, and then she was just simply gone after that. There was like no sound, no, nothing. Like, I'm like, did they just abduct her? Did they just take her up on a spaceship? Did they just literally take her off planet somewhere? Her disappearance was just so strange. The fact that she was with her person, I guess, and then just immediately gone the next. Like, no, no warning, no, nothing. So it's very strange how this lady went missing. She was all about the UAP metal and exotic materials, and she held patents on metastable alloys for advanced rocket propulsion. Very strange, right? Very, very strange. It almost sounds like to me that this was some form of abduction when it comes to this lady in specific. Now, there's another guy named Major General William McCaslin. He was a former commander of the Air Force Research Lab. He disappeared from his Albuquerque home in February 2026. Okay, this was just literally a couple months ago, you guys. Apparently, he left his phone, he left his glasses, he left all his personal tech behind, and nobody knows what happened to this guy. Just up and disappeared. Okay. And the thing about this guy, McCaslin, is he was an insider in the community for exotic materials. He was a keeper of these secrets. He had a lot of sacred knowledge. So, yeah, it sounds like somebody is definitely trying to destroy anyone who's trying to get a piece of the puzzle with these weapon systems. Again, I think they need to look into corporations like Lockheed Martin and go a little bit more down that route, that these ones that are actually involved with these negative ET factions, right? The ones that like are in direct involvement, monetary gain off of war, that these would be the ones behind some these executions. I mean, this is what I think personally they need to look. Um, okay, so we have Nuno Lorio, director of the MIT Plasma Science and Fusion Center. Apparently, this guy was shot in his home in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. Just nobody knows. Nobody's researching the death. Nobody's looking further into it. Just is what it is. It's a cold case. Carl Grillmeyer, Caltech astrophysicist, he was gunned down on his porch in Lano, California. We have Frank Mywald, principal researcher at JPL, specialized in instruments to detect life on icy moons. This guy died in July 2024. Nobody knows why. The cause was never released to the public. Okay? I mean, this is a long list. This should make you feel kind of strange. This should make you not feel good. I don't feel very good. I feel weird about this. I feel like, how freaking sad is this? Okay? We have Stephen Garcia, property custodian for the Kansas City National Security Campus. This guy went missing in August 2025 after leaving his Albuquerque home with a handgun. Apparently he just abandoned his vehicle. He abandoned his family. Nobody knows what happens to this guy. custodian of the Kansas City National Security Campus. Okay, why? What was going on at Kansas City National Campus? Did he find out something? Did he know something? Okay, was he in the wrong place at the wrong time? Stephen Garcia, you apparently were involved in something at Kansas City Security Campus where, okay, they're doing some of this scientific research or creating these devices. Somehow this guy was involved. He doesn't sound like he was a scientist, but apparently security people are involved in this list. Anthony Chavez, retired Los Alamos National Laboratory engineer at 78 years old. What 78 years old people do you know that just go up and missing? This guy disappeared May 2025. Left his wallet, left his keys inside of his car. The car was locked inside of the house. Like, where would this guy go? Where would he go? Right? I mean, strange. Strange. Just disappeared. Just up and disappeared. Worked for the Los Alamos National Laboratory. He was an engineer. The old guy just disappeared. Strange. Strange. Melissa Casillas, administrative assistant at Los Alamos with security clearance, last seen walking alone on a highway with a backpack in June 2025. I don't know why some of these people who are in the security are involved in this, but apparently they must be seeing something going on and they're killing anybody who knows where weapons are being created, where data is being inputted, where the organizations and secret black op military programs are going on. They're going on at campuses. It looks like campuses. Jason Thomas, director and researcher at Novartis. His body was recovered from a lake in March 2026. Oh my gosh, rest in peace, rest in peace. Oh, beautiful soul. Okay, after going missing in Wakefield, Massachusetts in December 2025. Oh, police claim no foul play. Just unbelievable. What I'm noticing is that a lot of these scientists are really tied to New Mexico. Without much further details, it seems like there's a lot going on at this Los Alamos. So, yeah, there might be running the forest breeder programs there as well. I think Stephen Greer came out and said that Utah actually was a location he knew specifically that he was going out to soon to like evaluate this place that he knows that forest breeder programs were going on. And he said the variations of these beings were like something scary, like something out of a horror movie. I don't even, yeah. Um, More to come forward if Stephen Greer goes and checks out these forest breeder facilities in Utah. Apparently, Utah is a location that this is going down. So makes sense with the Mormonism, the multiple wives. I mean, they got women to spare, right? They got women to donate to these forest breeder programs. Now, there was a study in Next Generation Energy and Plasma where Nuno Lorio, Melissa Casillas, Anthony Chavez all worked on fusion plasma and next generation nuclear systems. They worked on asteroid detection, biosignatures, and early warning from space. Frank Mywald and Michael David Hicks were building systems to detect threats coming from space, whether asteroid or something else. So they're also knocking off the people that are developing the defense systems from weapon systems. The consistency is that geographically it keeps repeating itself in Southern California and New Mexico. So the JPL seems to be a place that it keeps happening, and also New Mexico, Los Alamos, it keeps repeating. So keep an eye out, you guys. Keep an eye out for those two places. I wouldn't want to be a scientist at JPL. I would not want to be a scientist at Los Alamos or even a security guard for that much in those two places. Something is going down in those two places. So we have to shift into a deeper Guardian Alliance interpretive lens over this because this is where the real energy update lives, right? Because from the Guardian perspective, the current disclosure cycle is not only about the craft in the skies or the leaked alien files or the disclosure of the ET weapon systems or the humans that are behind it that are getting murdered. Yeah, all of that is playing out, and we have to filter through this very heavy, dense smoke screen, this very heavy, dense um, soul entrapment layer of despair, disgust, and just wow, how much more? How much more can we keep revealing? How much further can we keep going? But that it is the gradual and inevitable collapse of compartmentalized secrecy systems that have controlled this information through fear, ridicule, classification barriers, right? Like, we should demand as a country that they're no longer allowed to classify anything, period. All information is information for the public. They're issuing strategic misinformation and they've been doing it for decades. We are sick of it. We are over it. We have truth lasers and spirit that are just cutting through the BS. And these scientists sat at the exact boundary where public science meets the black budget research, AI and negative ET disclosure. That's what feels like such an atrocity, and we're focusing on every minute aspect of it, but this is the ultimate reason of where darkness is coming to light. This is the ultimate place where darkness is coming to light, and it has to come to light. So when these unexplained deaths or disappearances, these clusters in that precise environment, the deeper concern is not random violence, it is pressure inside these hidden systems. So when these unexplained deaths and disappearances happen, these clusters of this of these people with these unfortunately tragic and traumatic stories, the deeper concern isn't that this is just random violence, right? And that's what they want us to think. They want us to just not care because they think we're stupid. They think we'll never figure things out. They think they're never going to get caught. But what's happening internally is pressure is bubbling up inside these hidden systems where these competing factions, I just got chills, are fighting to manage or suppress this information. That's what's happening. So, what is allowed to emerge into the collective awareness is just the tip of the iceberg. And we need to demand more disclosure in this framework. We need to bring forward a unified process handed down from the high, that it is a struggle between these factions, and some are pushing for controlled release of truth, while others are desperately preserving legacy power structures built on secrecy, technological monopolies, and psychological management of the population. And the shadow government, which is the negative ET government, okay? These are not monolithic organizations. These aren't just one thing that we have to understand that, and I got chills again going down my legs, that this is a living network. Okay, Lockheed Martin is a part of that. These defense contractors are a part of that. The intelligence compartments, the three-letter organizations, are a part of that. The transnational financial interests are a part of that. The private research nodes, the people, the scientists that are going missing, they are a part of that. And that they benefit from keeping breakthrough propulsion anomalies, recovering materials, and consciousness interface experiments, surveillance systems far beyond public imagination. They don't want us to have free energy technology. They want long-term studies of anomalous phenomena locked away from oversight. Okay, so the real secret is that the scale of hidden human technological development and the extent to which institutions learn to shape our perception itself is the real weapon. That's the real problem against humanity. And within the Guardian Alliance, you have to understand, like, when we say things like Draco and Greys, Archontic forces, the Anunnaki, we should not be sympathizers of these beings. None of these organizations that say that they're fighting for humanity, divine intelligence, the divine source, none of us should be sympathizing with these types because they're built within archonic forces that are not necessarily verified off-world species. That they also represent something within our society, that they function as symbolic archetypes for predatory consciousness patterns. Okay, if we can't identify the extent of the hybridization, okay, we're going to constantly live with these beings that are using domination through hierarchy and fear, hyper-technical intelligence, disconnected from empathy. This is where AI becomes a problem. This is where AI will be continued. This is how and where AI is being weaponized against humanity. Deception and emotional harvesting that feeds on division and trauma. And these are technologies of the Armageddon network. Scalar wave weapons. This is where these are weapons that we've been talking about for a long time. This kinetic Project Thor is a scalar wave weapon, okay? And they can anchor it at grid points to trigger artificial earthquakes. Not only can they use this to take out their enemies, but volcano eruptions, tsunamis, they could target the fault lines if they want to take out an entire civilization. The frequency fences, how do they affect people that they want to target for infiltration to take scientists out? Well, the voice to skull technology is initiated through frequency fences, artificial barriers that trap consciousness within low harmonic bands and then shoot negative thought impulses into the mind. This is also directed energy and bioweapons. It summarizes these things, but they target us through these bioweapons. These kinetic weapons are not just going to be made of tungsten as this continues to evolve, that they will and are and have been already holographic, that they can utilize holographic scalar weaponry. Again, targeting it through the AI quantum broadcast systems, simulating false ascension experiences and suppressing higher consciousness, chemtrail microwave programs, all of this cloaked technology is coming to the light. These are tools of the controllers. And it's deep. We need to focus on restoring the organic blueprint. This is how we, despite the centuries of all of this assault, Earth's original organic blueprint remains intact, coded within her crystalline heart. This template can never be fully erased. They don't like that. They don't like that. But this requires guardian oversight. This requires to look at things in practical terms. Whenever humanity builds systems rooted in coercion, secrecy, and exploitation, those same archetypal patterns express through us. They are mirrors as much as they are invaders. And that requires us to look at the frequencies that are being projected into us and also what we hold in response. And also the divine timing where we are living at right now inside of these stories that are surfacing, because public tolerance for managed reality that is collapsing is that has to stop. We have to stop having tolerance for collapsing reality, collapsing society, collapsing morality, collapsing integrity. Whistleblowers need to speak louder. Alternate media needs to quit bypassing the old gatekeepers and start really going to the core of it. Ordinary people need to start questioning narratives that once felt so unshakable. Haven't you heard of the Nick Shirley Act? Literally, the journalist citizen that is exposing all of the fraud, all the fraudsters, all of the Armenians, and all of the Russians in California. Okay, California is satanic playground. This is where it's going down. What, 4 out of the 11 scientists were connected to Southern California JPL? I mean, come on. Every disappearance and every unexplained death becomes a catalytic symbol. They intensify the scrutiny. They draw collective attention to hidden sectors. They crack the wall of automatic trust in official narratives. And whether every single case is directly connected or not, the broader energetic effect is identical. The old architecture of control is fracturing in real time, and the more serious exposing of hidden truths will not survive as one dramatic Hollywood revelation. It will unfold as a slow, relentless accumulation through declassified documents insider testimonies, the legal battles, the technological leaks, the investigative journalism, and the simple inability of any institution to maintain a total narrative of control in this decentralized information age. The deepest disclosure of all is this: humanity has lived inside layered systems of perception management for generations. Reclaiming our sovereignty does not begin with fear or hidden forces. We cannot live in fear anymore. You cannot, and this is another structured implant of the biblical indoctrination and Templar systems that control the mind, that control you fearing anything that has to do with actually questioning the status quo. We have to begin with disciplined pursuit of truth and unflinching evidence, ethical courage, and the absolute refusal to be manipulated by these secret societies and or the sensationalism because people get off on this stuff. So, yeah, the Guardian message that I'm getting with all of this is that these people, obviously, their lives were sacrificed as they were a part of the rapid changes that we are going through now. A lot of people lay their life on the line for truth to awaken. Um, but it doesn't represent the end of the world. They are the birth contractions of a species that's waking up. And so none of us are powerless in all of this. We are witnesses, we are frequency holders, and we are the ones who choose discernment over fear and truth over comfort. That's where we have to wake the masses up, is out of their sleepy comfort. And maybe they are waking up in a comfortable place, but if you're not fighting for the truth, you're not uh fighting the darkness. Okay, so that's my input on all this. Look into Project Thor. You guys will be just blown away with what they all are connected to. And this is the battle of the grids. This is the war of our time. It's happening within every ley line, every trauma scar, every corrupted assassination. And yeah, we're all being equipped to um, not only demand knowledge, but precision, courage, and just unwavering alignment with our guardian oversoul guidance and oversight of these things. So, yeah, guys, I talk about the planetary weapon system in my book, The Guardian Alliance Gridwork in New Earth Prophecy. Go check out my book because chapter 6 is what you want to go look at. Now, I wasn't able to obviously put Project Thor in my book because it's not new information. It's old information, but it's one thing I didn't include. But in chapter 6, I do cover all of the other most commonly known weapon systems that we're up against, such as the artificial hypercube and the spike matrix, um, CERN, time dilation modulation technologies, implant systems, all of it. It's HARP, underground bases and tunnels, everything that they're utilizing. So check out this book, you guys. It's going to help you to navigate what's going on in the current timelines. Links will be in the description if you would like to get my book, which I highly recommend you do. Also, I wanted to say I do have openings this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Come and work with me if you need to have that one-on-one time and you want to get into the nitty-gritty, removing some of these weapon systems out of our body. Are you being attacked with bioweapons? Do you have implant systems installed in your body? Come and get them removed with me. I have openings this weekend. Okay, you guys, I love you all so much.